Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carlos Phoenix with the Indie Lounge on the Lounge Magazine, and welcome to my show. I have our co-hosts. We have Chad and Matt. Welcome, guys. Coming in live from Long Island, and I am in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's a show. Basically, we talk about independent arts and tech and all sorts of things that's going to help you guys understand the world of new media today. And let's get started. So, guys, we were going to discuss today a couple of things. A few weeks back, or a few episodes back, me and the Kyles had discussed a little bit about Mortal Kombat and basically a new video game that's coming out. And since then, some other activity has been going around with Mortal Kombat. So, Chad, lead the way on this one. Tell me a little bit more about it.
First off, a few months back, a fan-made trailer made it to the web regarding a new Mortal Kombat movie. That's what it was believed to be. Turned out it was produced by a producer by the name of Kevin Tankerone, I believe his name is. Video went pretty viral. It got big rave reviews. Everybody was pretty amped and charged for it. It turned out it's not.
I got your video got lost a little bit.
Okay.
So we can fix that.
It's not actually a movie. It's being made into a webisode, which is a series that's going to be produced solely for the internet.
So it's basically now it's a series. Now, is the series a limited series? Do they plan on making it longer? Do you know?
I believe it's X amount of shows. I believe it's 12. I'm not sure about that, but last I knew, I thought it was 12. 12 episodes that they're going to do.
Now, Mortal Kombat has a history of movies that have come out way back, like 90s, I believe? Early 90s?
Yeah.
Or was it even as far back as the 80s? No, well, the 80s is when we were playing the game, most of us, of us older folk. But, and those movies were basically trying to mimic the look of the game, the costumes, maybe some parts of the storyline. Had background music of techno, get background music and all this funky stuff. But if you were a fan, like I was, it was kind of enjoyable, even though you kind of took the cheese as a tongue-in-cheek to the video game. But this is a different take.
Right. They're trying to give it more of a, Batman Begins. You could say that they're trying to bring it to the real world to a degree. The characters aren't so gamey, I guess you could say.
Colorful. Colorful is what I would say.
Colorful. Yeah, well, you can say that also. Yeah, it's like I said, it's more real world.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, we're going to play. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I think I'm going to just try on a snippet of what the trailer looks like. It is on YouTube, so you guys can follow that. You can probably do a search for Mortal Kombat 2011 Rebirth, and you'll probably get it. And let's see if I can get some of this video up and running for you guys. Now, it is in high def, so if you have a nice big screen, you can enjoy it that way on YouTube. But I'm going to put it a little bit lower resolution so that we can load it up a little bit faster. Live, I'm telling you.
This afternoon, Governor Muldoon once again responded to accusations that he has lost faith in the ability of the Deacon City Police Department to maintain order. He insists that Captain Jackson Briggs and his Violent Crimes Unit have his full backing and support. He claims the situation is under control.
6'1". Born with a rare disorder called Harlequin ichthyosis. Skin produces too many cells, causing massive diamond-shaped scales that can't retain water. In addition, the eyes are formed inside out. Life expectancy is 2 weeks. This guy's 30. He likes to rip the heads off his victims' bodies. He stores the heads in his refrigerator. And when he's hungry, he eats them. His known fatalities are in the double digits. Code name, Reptile. Next up, Dr. Alan Zane, plastic surgeon. His first victim likely accidental. The next 24 were not. Zane couldn't take being a failed doctor, so he went psychotic and turned the knife on himself. He pierced his face, sharpened his teeth into fangs, and he even surgically attached a pair of 10-inch blades into his forearms. Code name, Baraka. Last contact we had with Baraka was through Johnny Cage. Yeah, that's right, the old action hero. After his movie career died, he needed work. We had him working for us undercover.
So, basically, I think I interrupted there. For those, I should have pre-warned, it's pretty violent and gruesome in terms of the video. But to cover the story, simply put, the officer, Jackson, is investigating what is potentially an organized fight club type of looking thing. So, at least that's the way I look at it. But go ahead, elaborate further on that.
He's sending Scorpion in. That was a part the fans didn't get to see. He's sending Scorpion in to basically take out Shang Tsung, who is the organizer of Mortal Kombat. They're doing it in the vein of it being, like you said, an underground fight club, more like a syndicate, I guess you could say. Now, Jerry Ryan, she plays Sonya Blade. That was at the end of the trailer. She's going to be reprising her role as well as Michael Jai White as Major Jack Briggs.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the whole story there. So, what's interesting is how now the show, the lounge, the indie lounge, and all that type of stuff. Some of the stuff that we focus on is how the internet is changing the game, and between this, what I'm trying to cover in this show is giving a little bit of limelight to independent producers, filmmakers, musicians, and introduce them to the world in a way that sometimes you might catch someone on YouTube or Vimeo or a lot of these video sites, and you get to see maybe a short film or something like that. But you never get to know these guys behind the scenes. You don't get to understand who they are, what they're about, and stuff. And so what we've been talking about and what we've been trying to focus us on the show, and if you've been watching some of the episodes, you get to see and meet some artists who are now going to be signed or getting signed, who've been working independently for years, working on their craft and also using the internet to their advantage to market themselves. So what that means here, pertaining to Mortal Kombat, this had an opportunity to be a TV show or a feature film, and they got rejected or something, and they were still able to produce a high quality, well shot production online only. And that is huge. I mean, that's exactly what this show and what I predicted 5 years ago that was going to happen, along with, I'm sure, countless of other people. And tons of executives have been turning it off and saying, it ain't going to happen. Everybody loves to watch their TV. But look at TVs now. The internet is being plugged into the TVs now. You got products like Apple TV and Roku, and independent content is soon to be the mainstream in the household. You know, you can watch your Channel 2, you can, your CBS, your ABCs, and all that stuff, your HBOs, your Showtimes, but the internet is no holds bar. It's all new. It's all fresh again. Now, granted, what's going to happen, and I warn you all, is that all these executives are going to try and take over the internet too. So there's a lot of things that are going on that you got to keep your eyes out for. But back to this in Mortal Kombat. Again, it's really well shot, well done, action, probably good budget, online only. So my question, and I don't know if you'll have the answer for it, is how are they going to make money on this? I didn't really see any ads, so something's got to pay for this, and that's what all of us, independent producers, musicians, and stuff, are trying to figure out. The internet is this huge vacuum of information, and well, there's got to be a way to make money, because you can't really just charge on YouTube, but you never know. So now that does lead into a story that we weren't necessarily going to get into, but we did discuss before this show about Google with YouTube possibly putting in $100 million to create independent content. So I know we didn't prepare for this, so I apologize, but everything I just said kind of led into it, so I thought I'd at least bring it up. There's talk and possibly already movement of Google investing $100 million to create a channel inside of YouTube that's going to contain completely independent content. And that's pretty huge, because it's the first, as far as I can tell, major investment outside of all these little short films and stuff that one company's doing to completely support and create some kind of concrete footing of everything I just said. And that's going to be really huge if they know what they're doing, because it's Google. So Google is a internet company. They don't know anything about production, or do they? They don't know. Well, I can't say they don't know what people like, because their entire infrastructure behind the scenes is, what is it you're about? What do you like? What do you like to watch? What do you like to listen to? What are you searching? What are you researching? So maybe they might be some of the best companies that can use that database of a million things that they're researching to offer the best content. And they have YouTube, which, I mean, they got a gazillion servers with a gazillion movies in it. What say you, Chad and Matt?
I think it's pretty cool that they're allowing people to bring original their own personal content, as long as it's in a professional quality, to the internet. I mean, that gives a lot of opportunities for artists or just creative people out there who want to see something new. Or, how many times have you gone to a movie and go, I can do better. All right, I've seen this before. Let me do some. Why can't I get a chance? It's providing that opportunity for us out there. That's pretty great. It's amazing considering the way the world is today, with everybody having to put money down here, and control your creative ideas. That's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see. We've watched. My teenage daughter, she watches YouTube videos, and they're all really cheesy, really badly done. Just kids talking in front of a camera type stuff. And it'd be interesting to see, going into YouTube or some other video channel, what high quality video will look like online. And there's plenty of podcasts and those type of shows that have been doing a really great job. I'm trying, but to have a budget like you would in television production, to produce a series or a short film, or allow people who have super creative minds, hopefully people that are passing through my show, just to have their ability to show themselves and explain themselves and what their creativity is about and how they're doing it and stuff. It'd be great to see how YouTube and Google will use this money and selectively get these content producers and get much higher quality, because now they'll be backed with $100 million. And of course, YouTube has been getting a lot more ads on their videos, so there's going to be a lot of that. They'll probably be putting in commercials. But the fact is, this is what people are watching with now. This is what people are watching with now. So the content can be anywhere. And I think that's what people have been wanting for a little while. So this Google movement is definitely one to watch, and I wouldn't be surprised if it would wake up some executives in these big channels. Another thing that's been going on, if you are an iPhone user or an iPad user, Turner, or Time Warner, I should say. Sorry, Turner. Time Warner has been trying to get their Roadrunner service, their not the internet, but their television channels, to be on the iPad app. And some channels rebelled. Content producers rebelled. They basically said, no, you got to pull out my stuff. Now, not all the channels left, but they did have to update the app and change channels and remove content and move things around to content that people were not bitching about. And that's another awkward move in this direction that we're talking about, of your television now is trying to follow this route. And yet, because of laws and copyright and licenses, it's all blocked up. It's just like the music industry. They just don't get it. They don't get that that's what people want. And unless there's some crazy infrastructure of them making millions, they're not going to permit it to happen. And it's an opportunity for independent producers to then follow this route and say, well, if that's what they want, I'll give it to them. I don't have all these contracts and licenses and copyrights I'll let go of a little bit of it just so that you can have something to watch, and then I can make money, because advertisers are now moving to the internet. If I can get those advertisers first, there's an opportunity there. So let's hope that that's actually what's going to happen, because independent producers can finally show themselves off without having all this, stacks of papers that are blocking them from being able to produce just because it doesn't fit the niche that other producers think is supposed to be happening. So okay, let's go to the next story. I think I killed that one. Sorry. Now, the next story is well, I think I picked this one. So I have some friends, and these friends a few years back were videographers, photographers, that type of thing. But they were very creative, very talented guys. They're called the Horne Brothers. Now, the Horne Brothers are three guys, three actual brothers, who they got together. Brothers, you kind of like, you do your thing, and for years they did their thing. I met one of the brothers. Sorry, his name is Tyson Allen Horne. Awesome photographer, does great fashion shoots. He does great like front magazine cover type shoots. Very creative. He's getting very stylized. Or he's getting his look to be recognized, and I like it a lot. But he got together with his brothers, and they rented out a huge studio, a nice sized studio, and I helped a little bit, helped networking and some other stuff. And I've watched them grow, and right now they've just shot a documentary, and the documentary has to do with a very well-known playwright. His name is Kenny Leon, and he's an award-winning playwright. And so basically what they were doing is following Mr. Leon with the program that he started out in New York City about teaching kids how to become actors, playwrights, the whole creative arts. And so I'm going to just show you a glimpse, or you know what, I'll just play the trailer. They deserve that. And they're entering, and they have been entered in the Atlanta Film Festival. And so we're going to just show you a glimpse of what that's going to be like.
I got a heart that beats here. And it's just as loud as the next fellas. I don't care if he's black or white.
I'm hoping that these young people get inspired to live their dreams, to do what they want, to take the full advantage of America.
Your belief in yourself must be so strong that it doubles everyone else's collective disbelief.
Kenny is a pillar in American theater. You know, he started with nothing when it comes to theater, when it comes to his career. And he built up everything that he has now.
We have the August Wilson monologue competition with all these young folks from all over the country. This monologue competition says to them, you could be anything you want to be.
Kenny Leon is dedicated not only to the theater, to August Wilson and developing a new generation of actors.
Through what Kenny's doing, by giving them skills and giving them the tools to function inside this theater, they'll be prepared. But the one thing nobody can teach you is being in the right place at the right time.
Statistics are brought out about how much the theater and the arts improves education levels in a state.
So this tells me that artistic expression is fundamental to human development.
I could have been out there smoking or something else to fulfill that passion that's on the inside of me. But I don't got to worry about that because theater fills that spot.
Theater is like my first love. That's how I started acting.
My most impactful moment as a kid was watching live performances.
Just step into it. What you've got to be is the character and tell these stories. That's all you have to do.
And above all, remember, you are an American.
It's our tax money that provides the economy that we exist in.
Why, in this great country of ours, we elect people to take things from us.
So live. So live, so live, so live, for the righteous shall be lifted up.
I'm finally finding myself. Even if it's in a 2-minute monologue, I'm finally finding myself.
Awesome. Love you guys. If you guys are watching the Horne Brothers, I'm going to set up an interview shortly. I have already discussed it with one of the brothers, so I'm just going to try to see if I can get the group or at least one of them for an interview and go over the entire process of how they put this together and how it all came to be. So that is the Horne Brothers, and you can check them out at thbfilms.com. All right, next story. Anybody?
Moving right along. I believe the next story was the about a Blockbuster.
Okie dokie. So, so the Blockbuster story relates to Dish Networks. They basically, Blockbuster's been doing pretty poorly. They've been getting their butts kicked by Netflix, Redbox. If you go to your local supermarket, you'll see these big machines that you can just slide your credit card and rent a movie for like $1. And that's just been slaughtering Blockbuster. But they had, Blockbuster had its time, charging tons of money and changing their policies left and right. And they've just, not for nothing, but it got tiring, and they never modernized it. They never made it work. And so Netflix comes out, and they're like, it's just Netflix is a little baby, big deal, who cares? And here it is. Now Netflix is the big daddy, and they're having their fight too. There's a lot of contract disputes and changes with the content that's on Netflix, which is why we don't have very current content on Netflix. But long story short, Blockbuster's been losing money in droves and have been closing down stores recently a lot, and so they had to go out for auction because they already filed for bankruptcy about a month or so back. But go ahead. What else would you like to inform me about?
What I'm interested in with this buyout is what exactly is Dish Network going to do with Blockbuster?
Well, did we mention that Dish Network was buying them? No, I don't think so. Did we? All right. Well, Dish Network is now buying them. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, Dish Network is buying Blockbuster for $228 million. They'll be acquiring 1,700 stores, I believe it is. Now, somehow they have a plan to revamp Blockbuster and still keep them alive in today's market, as you said, with Netflix and Redbox. I just don't see how that's possible. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is it that they're going to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want Blockbuster to go anywhere, but there's certain things that I can't get when I'm looking on Netflix. Certain rare films, certain new movies that come out you just can't get on Netflix that, you go to Blockbuster, or like say independent film, you go to Blockbuster and you pick it up. What could they possibly do in this market right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. The story doesn't elaborate on any of that. And mind you, we get stories. We're basically checking out different websites and seeing all these different stories. So we're kind of clustering a ton of them into one. So if you want to follow the story, it's somewhere in Engadget and a few other, I'm sure if you do a Google search. But that being said, there's a couple of things. Dish Network and its competitor DirecTV, they've been colossal competitors and trying to compete versus cable. Well, the only thing I can think of is that they either know or are aware of some kind of change in the entertainment market that they might want to then take advantage of. Now, what that is, we don't know. So let's take a look at the market. The movie industry has been updating movies to be 3D now. So we had regular movies, now there are 3D movies. Part of that has to do with people copying DVDs and then having them in the market before they even get released in Blockbuster, for example. Then you have things like Netflix coming out, trying to circumvent that. But the problem with Netflix is that they don't get very current films. What the movie industry started doing to change it is releasing the DVDs very shortly after a movie's been out in the theaters. Then you have, and I'm just doing a really off the top of my head analysis of how the market's been changing. So they try to come out with 3D movies to prevent the ability for you to copy a movie or take that video camera into the theater and have it out in the streets the next day. So it's possible that that's what 3D was for, but then now 3D is out for TVs. So there's a lot of interesting changes that have been happening. that has been changing the entire film industry and market, and they're all trying to do it to make the most money, because of course movies are getting more expensive, and everybody needs to be rich in Hollywood. Okay. So the move like this, DirecTV, I don't know if it's their way of being able to get a license to say, hey, well, we already have the DVD. Why can't we just show it also on DirecTV? I don't know. I mean, is there any ideas that you might have that kind of circles around that?
I don't know. To spend that kind of money, they got to have a plan. They got to have something up their sleeve. Considering what what you mentioned earlier about everything going to the internet and being filtered through the iPhone and the iPad and the internet, so forth.
Well, I mean, we know.
I can't see where they got to have some type of plan.
I mean, at the same time, there's still a market out there that's not being reached, as I said, through Netflix and Redbox. I mean, like when it comes down to the independent filmmaker, they get distribution deals. Some go to like Best Buy, others go to places like Blockbuster, which we're talking about. Without Blockbuster there's no way for them to get their product out to the public.
Well, okay. I mean, let's look at some of the limitations that Dish Network has. Not everybody goes for it, right? I mean, some people just select cable. I'm a cable subscriber. Maybe they're just looking at an angle to access more people that they don't have access to right now. That could be a money-making revenue. Maybe they want to match the prices that Redbox and Redbox has in the street, because they know that people still kind of want to be able to rent. I mean, I have Netflix, but on occasion I just want to see something that just came out, and I'll just go rent something at Redbox. So, I mean,
but what I was saying was though that Redbox offers a limited selection of movies. I mean, it doesn't run the full gamut. It just doesn't.
And then you'd have a big store that has the most current and a large variety,
right?
And you're accessing a lot more customers. I mean, I guess. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, once again, you're accessing more customers, but still in all, like the first question I asked, I mean, knowing that there are people out there that need to get their work seen or out there into the market, and Blockbuster being the avenue for it. All right. Now we have the Redbox and Netflix and everyone coming in. How exactly do you compete in this market the way it is? Same question I asked before, and still make your company viable to push this stuff out to the audience? I don't see it as being a real possibility. I know you're saying that they might have a plan, this, that, and the third, but everything is going away of digital. But anybody who's not in that league at this point in time is pretty much getting left behind, which is a shame.
Well, okay, here's another way to look at it. All right, so Blockbuster was starting to have the online type of service, kind of like Netflix. Then you have the DVD discs, which then they can offer direct Dish Network in the stores, giving more access to the public. Satellite is one of those services that it doesn't matter where you are. In my neighborhood, we only have one cable company, no competition. So you have DirecTV and Dish as an option secondhand. This might give the opportunity for all these Blockbuster stores to have the ability to offer these services and cut off DirecTV and have a little bit more. Dish Network also offers the most HD channels. I sound like a commercial now. They offer the most HD channels compared to DirecTV, and there's got to be some kind of permissions that Blockbuster must have had, because you're figuring they're getting access to all their assets. That might include contracts that they may have with the Hollywood studios and so on, and even independent studios. So it might give them access to some of that content. It might be a way to incorporate Blockbuster being inside of boxes like DVD players and the Roku and all those type of products that are out there that allows you to plug into the internet and give them access using the internet to transmit Dish Network product. There's a lot of potential angles, but I guess we'll find out soon enough when they decide to tell us. So, I mean, do you have any comments on anything I've said?
Like, I hear where you're coming from, but that still doesn't explain the purchase of 1,700 stores.
Well, that's access to customer base.
What exactly are you going to do?
That's access to customer base to be able to offer the online product, the Dish Network product, and the DVD product. I mean, you're hitting every angle that Redbox can't do, and that Netflix is mostly doing, with the exception of live, and also current product that Netflix doesn't have access to. You see, Dish has, kind of like cable television would, some kind of contract with all the TV networks and all that type of stuff. That contract allows them to transmit a certain amount of content through all these different channels, and then each channel gives their permissions to transmit through Dish. That being said, you can then say, hey, let's renegotiate and allow us to then distribute it digitally using the Blockbuster servers, let's say. And I'm making all this up, but they could have already just mapped out an entire infrastructure where they can hit all the angles in 1,700 stores. I'm sorry, is it 1,700 stores?
Yes.
Yeah, 1,700 stores, accessing more than what they probably already had access to, which is right now probably just Blockbuster and H.H. Gregg and a few other locations like Radio Shack and stuff. 1,700 stores is a lot to be able to sell their product. Now, what they're going to do with the rest of the store, they're probably still going to rent videos at a cheaper price to compete with Redbox and kind of bring everything all together, and then offer the digital asset as well, which is being able to transmit through the internet some of this content. So again, all this is assumptions, and we don't really know. But if I step back far enough, there might be something there.
Well, whatever the situation is, I wish them well, as long as I can still go to the store and get my DVD.
Exactly. Either that or update the freaking.
What you're saying, it kind of makes sense. They had to look at the demographics of it, and they probably, like you said, with the people that are still buying the DVDs, they like, look, maybe in another 5-10 years, DVDs will be obsolete. Well, let's grab this money now, get this money now, and then
I don't know if DVDs is part of this whole. They're trying to get rid of DVDs. I mean, you're pushing Blu-ray and you're pushing 3D, and they might have an angle with that, because HD is huge for Dish Network. Like I said, they have the most HD product lines and channels.
Okay.
Cool deal. Now let's see. Do we have another story? Yes, we do. We have one last one, and then we can probably just kind of shoot the shit. I think I just changed our rating right now. Sorry. All right. Well, this is just a product for you guys who are out there who want to be videographers and might be iPhone filmmakers. So there's been some short stories out on the internet that are being shot with the iPhone, and I find that interesting and appealing. There's iMovie for the iPhone and the iPad, but this guy or this company have invented the ability to shoot in 360-degree views with something called GoPano Micro. So I'm going to show you quickly the product for GoPano Micro.
Hello Kickstarters, my name is Michael and this is my project, the GoPano Micro. It's a lens for your iPhone 4 that lets you make 360 videos. This is the GoPano Micro. Just attach the lens to our case to record interactive panoramic videos like this. Really thrilled to launch the GoPano Micro. With your help, we can make it a success. Back us on Kickstarter and share this link with your friends and family. Together, we can bring panoramic video to the masses, and you could be one of the very first to own a GoPano Micro of your own. Thank you for your attention.
I think that's kind of neat. Now, whether a filmmaker's actually going to use it for anything, I don't know. Well, now, what I thought was really cool, though, is how he's watching the video, and as he's watching, he still has 360-degree control. Now, whether that'll work in YouTube or something like that, I don't know. It probably requires a special player, but it'll probably be just some kind of JavaScript plugin on your browser or something like that. I don't know. He mentioned Kickstarter, which is the ability to get financing through you, the public, for products such as this. If you have an invention, a story, album you want to do, and you don't have the finances to do it, perhaps the public might be interested enough to help you. So that's what he's doing, and that's what the link was at the end of the video. He's looking for $20,000 in funding in order for him to be able to mass produce the product. The product, I think, is selling for $50. So your investment is $50, and you'd be one of the first to get this product once it goes into mass production, if he gets it done. So my understanding is he's asking for $20,000, and he's already achieved that. So, but you can probably still continue to invest and try to get that product. So, what'd you think of that?
Actually, that was kind of cool. That was my first time seeing. I know you and Matt had taken a look at it earlier, but that's cool for an attachment for the iPhone, at least, you know.
Yeah, I think it's neat. And I mentioned for you, the filmmakers out there, it's just another way of being creative, I think. And anything that's creative, I think I like to back. And I think that concludes our show, guys. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me and with Matt and Chad, and I hope my program doesn't crash. But that concludes the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chad and Matt. And as always, this episode has been sponsored by The Art of Tees. They do great custom printing for your garments, t-shirts, and more. And you can check them out at theartoftees.com. Thank you, Art of Tees, for helping me survive as we produce this show and make it a little bit better for you. Any suggestions to me, you can hit me up at the Twitter, at Carlos Phoenix, or you can hit me at facebook.com/Carlos Phoenix. I will and do have a fan page for the lounge, just have not released it to the public yet because I don't know what I'm going to put on it. So if you have suggestions, feel free to just hit me up on Twitter. And Matt and Chad, thank you again for another mistake of Carlos. Sorry.
You're up so late, man.
And sorry about that, guys. Just I don't have a producer, guys. It's just little old Carlos just pressing buttons as I do the show. Again, thank you very much for watching. And that concludes the show.
That's a wrap.